What's going on in this video? I want to talk about the Passport Bros. I've already recorded this video like an idiot. I hit some button and changed the aspect ratio, so I had to make some adjustments in post. It kind of looks weird, but I didn't feel like re-recording it. I said everything I wanted to say and made all my points. So anyway, Passport Bros, check it out. What's going on? This is Michael at Only Human, and today we're here to talk about the Passport Bros. Uh, who are the Passport Bros? The Passport Bros are a movement. They've gone kind of viral in recent years. Basically, it's a group of guys that travel overseas for more traditional relationships with women, more traditional types of women that believe in things like marriage and your basic traditional ideas and ideals. So they've never been officially defined as to who they are and who it is not included in this group, but it's primarily Western or mostly American black men that go to these other countries um, for more traditional relationships with women. That's what they say. This video is also about something I refer to as reframing the narrative. What do I mean by reframing the narrative? I did a video before about the manosphere. The manosphere is kind of centered around the reframing of a narrative. So the manosphere is mostly made up of guys who have struggled socially, particularly with women. And what they did is try to convince themselves and anyone who will listen that it's not actually them that have trouble with women. It's that women are just inherently flawed individuals and they're all crap people. So it's not me. It's actually them. There's a group within the manosphere known as MGTOW. It's an acronym. MGTOW means men going their own way. And this is another reframing of the narrative where it's like they're saying it's not that I suck with women. It's that I don't want to deal with them. Yeah, women, I don't want you. I'm gonna go my own way. This is just a way to make themselves, feel better about the situation. It's a coping mechanism and make them feel better about their situation and to convince anyone else that that's not what you think. It's just that I don't want them. So to the Passport Bros. The Passport Bros is basically part of the manosphere. Whether they claim it or not, it's the same type of rhetoric. Um, and they were framing their narrative as saying, it's not that I suck with women. It's that I'm going overseas for better women, better than so-called Western women that have been corrupted by feminism. Um, Really, it's just that they've struggled with women, maybe socially in general, but I don't think that that makes you a complete piece of shit or a loser. It's just that the approach, when you try to scapegoat and put it all on another group of people to say it's not you, that's pathetic. So they make themselves, in my opinion, pathetic through their rhetoric. And I think most people just kind of understand that, yeah, you guys are the ones who are just not doing well with women. And the funny thing is that they're actually honest about it sometimes unintentionally. Like they'll say, white men have been doing this for decades, and they're one of their deflections where they say people hate on them for whatever reason. Or it's when black men start to do it, blah blah blah. So they admit that white men have been doing this for decades. So here's the thing, Password Bros. What types of men have been doing this for decades? Basically, two types. You have the guys who may or may not have done well with women who go overseas for things like the red light districts, cheaper working girls, and some of them, smaller number of them, for underage women. So that's one type of guy. The other type of guy is what I refer to as Skippy from accounting. He's the guy who everyone in the office pretty much knows. Then no one's ever seen him with a woman. That everyone understands he's kind of socially awkward. They probably give him shit, when they're around the water cooler or whatever, talking crap about him. And Skippy would just disappear. Oh, where's Skip? He's on vacation. Oh, okay. A couple weeks later, he returns to the office and he's got pictures on his social media of his trip to Thailand. And he may have in his pictures his Thai wife or fiance. And it's like, well, good for Skippy. Everyone just kind of understands that these are the guys who would go overseas for dealings with women. And the passport bros have been saying, we're not the first. This has been going on for decades. Yes, with certain types of guys. You guys are those guys. Everyone pretty much knows it. No matter how many times you try to tell us, oh, it's because they're more traditional and they're fit friendly and submissive and all of this crap. It's quite obvious that you struggle with women, which is not a problem, but you make yourself look pathetic trying to convince everyone of this false narrative. Um, Another thing is that it doesn't matter if they're more traditional and they're more submissive if you only dealing with them with a short period of time. A lot of these guys are not going over and getting married. They're just going over and telling about their experiences with random women. And if that's the case, it doesn't really matter if they're more traditional. You yourself are not more traditional. You're not traditional yourself. A lot of these guys are talking all this tradition crap, and you're really just trying to get your nut off. I mean, it is what it is. Just why are you lying about it? And in this lie, in this reframing of the narrative, what they do, damn alarm, what they do is shit on millions of people, namely Americans or Western women, to keep their lie, to make it kind of real. What they say is all of these so-called Western women are shit people, and overseas there are these beautiful flowers that are friendly and submissive and fit and all of this crap. Um, so, in their effort to convince themselves and anyone who will listen of this reframed narrative, they shit on millions of people, and this is why it went kind of viral. This is why there are a lot of eyes on the Passport Bros, even though they reframe the narrative about why there are so many eyes on their so-called movement. Oh, it's because no one wants to see a black man happy, and what are some of the other crap they say? Um, I don't know, just a bunch of crap. They just people are hating and people are jealous because they can't afford to do it. It's all bullshit, and they know it. The reason why there's so many eyes on this so-called movement, and the reason why they get so much pushback is because they talk so much shit about so many people. It's quite simple. They all know it. We all know it. So that's who the Passport Bros are. That's why a lot of people have heard of them, and there's a big discussion about them, is because they talk shit about people, and which makes no sense because they're claiming that they're leaving this thing that is bad for this thing that is good. How many times have you like left a job that was shit or an ex that was shit and you found a job or another person that was so much better? Just it was all great. How often do you sit around thinking about this thing that you left? Constantly posting online about this thing that you left and how shit it is. That doesn't even make sense. See, people don't do that. There's a reason why they're focusing on this thing that they're supposedly leaving behind. And I believe one of those reasons is because they want desperately for the people who have rejected them the majority of their lives to feel bad, to feel like, oh, we're missing out and that they're leaving us. And they want them to so desperately be mad. They have video after video. Look at Passport Bros. Video after video about Western women have a meltdown, Western women mad, Western women, all this kind of crap. They're just so focused on this thing that's supposedly so bad and that they supposedly left behind for a better life. It doesn't make sense. They want to convince themselves and other people that they're traveling for these false reasons. And they want these women who have rejected them all their lives to feel bad and to regret just rejecting them all of their lives. Another thing I noticed is that they'll have countless videos about This person agrees with the passport bros. Uh, this is the reason why we travel. This is the reason why we travel. This person agrees. This, and it's like, I don't feel you need to keep explaining why you do something that you don't see as problematic. It's like, say you have a movement, feed the children. So you got hungry, homeless, and abandoned children, and you feed and clothe the children. I don't think you would have a million videos talking about this is why we do what we do. Please believe that this is why we do what we do. This is why you just do it. I think the reason why they keep making these types of videos is try to convince themselves and anyone who will listen of this false narrative. Please believe that this is actually why we do it, not this. It's for this. Please believe me. And it's like, if you are doing something that's not problematic, especially if it's a good thing like feeding the children, helpless children, you don't need allies to speak for you, to go to bat for you. Uh, this person destroyed this person for the Feed the Children movement. This person agrees with the Feed the Children movement. Like, you know what you're doing is good, or at the very least, you know what you're doing is not problematic. There's a reason why they do this, is because they know that they are just guys who fail with women, and some of them are just tricks. They're going over there for pay for play, as we say. But anyway, yeah, that was just a quick video talking about the Passport Bros. I'm gonna have many other videos, probably talk about Manosphere in general, but the Passport Bros, there'll be a few more videos talking about them. I just think they're just truly, utterly pathetic. This whole so-called movement. How do you associate yourself with this thing? Something that's just so pathetic. When they talk about these guys who have been doing this for decades, see, Passport Bros, they have done it quietly. You've been told a million times, move in silence. That's how the people before you have done it. Skippy from accounting just disappeared for 2 weeks. You didn't even know he was on vacation until he returned. And then you saw the pictures online of his new Thai wife or fiance. They don't go online yelling to the world about their degeneracy and how they're acting like they're getting these sweet submissive women. And a lot of them are working, not all of them. There are a lot of false narratives put out about passport bros. In fairness, um, a lot of people just kind of put them in a box. All of them are just tricks, going to red light districts to sleep with working girls, and then they'll say that they're all broke. That doesn't even make sense. You have to have money to travel. There may be some that don't, they saved up their pennies and they just spent what they had, but the argument that they're broke doesn't really make sense. A lot of us don't travel because we can't, and so I don't really get that argument. And another one is that they're all going over to spend money on working girls. I feel that the average passport bros didn't have a lot of luck with your average woman, and they go overseas um, because they have something that they can leverage to get a better response from women, regular women. Yes, a lot of them probably indulge while they're over there. Probably a few of them go over there for working girls, but I think for the most part, most of them are going for what they don't get at home, and that's just better interactions with just your regular women. So, how is it that it happens? I think a lot of them are socially awkward, and they don't, they probably have struggled socially. Period. Um, a lot of them probably neurodivergent. So why is it that they have more success in these other places that they go? First off, where are they going? For the most part, they're going to what is referred to as third world nations, second or third world nations, where people don't have the opportunities that they have in the West. And therefore, they have different things they can leverage. A lot of people just assume and will say there's another narrative that people have against the passport bros. I don't necessarily completely agree with. They'll just kind of frame it as all these people over in these other countries are basically broke and destitute. And these women all want to come to the West. They all want to come to America, whatever. They all want trying to get passports. I think that's a false narrative. A lot of them are happy where they live. They're not all broke. When you stop it, damn it. And I just don't really think that's the case. Of course, there are some that want these guys for their money. That's another thing that people say. They just want you for your money. Again, assuming that they're all broke and they all, want an opportunity or a come up. I think that there's a lot of layers to it. I think there are definitely women who are looking for some type of come up, or maybe they do want a passport, maybe they do want to come to the West. But it's more to it than that, along the lines of leverage. That's some of the things that they can leverage. And another thing that they can leverage that occurred to me is that just the fact that they're from these nations, like the U.S. It's not only a wealthy nation, not only kind of a leader in the world or the leader in the world, but as far as its entertainment, like we don't in the U.S. we don't really know of a lot of athletes and entertainers from other countries, but other countries kind of know of our athletes and entertainers. And Hollywood's a really big. They're really good at what they do. They make some incredible movies, and our influencers are kind of known around the world. So I thought about it one day, and I thought about, like, see, I grew up in LA, and when my brother and I, like when I was in junior high, we had family that we would visit in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I'm pretty much an introvert. I'm not, like I knew people in school. I was just like the really popular guy, but I knew everyone. But when we went out there, it's like you're the man. You get a lot of respect just because you're from LA. One, because LA is a big city, and also because hip hop culture had already started in LA, and it was New York and then LA, and a lot of our artists were known. And so you had culture that was influential and it was blowing up, and then you had the fact that it was a big city. We just got respect. People like, wow, you're from LA, and we could leverage that if we wanted to. And I remember being in LA, there was a kid who checked into my junior high from New York. And we all looked up to New York. Hip hop came from New York, and New York was this big city, and everyone respected this dude. He had the accent and everything, and it's just like it's because he was from New York. So I realized just being from certain places, going to other places, you are looked at a certain way. You get a certain respect. People look up to you, and you can leverage that. And I think that's a part of it. I think it's going to be a bunch of different things that leads to them having more success overseas. Some that I probably haven't even thought of, but I don't think it's as simple as they just want them for the money and for a green card. But basically, it comes down to leverage. You aren't doing particularly well with women here, so you go to where you will. And I don't have an issue with that. It's just that they try to reframe the narratives, not because I'm failing or socially awkward or whatever. It's because these millions of people over here are all shit, and over here they're all great. And another crazy thing about it is that all these people are shit. They go over here. One of the places they go is like Colombia, and there's a lot of talk about how these foreigners are being drugged and some are being killed and robbed. How does that fit into your narrative? How are they so much better in this place? And they tell each other, like, they'll tell you when you go to these places, don't even sit your drink down. If you walk away, don't sit your drink down, and don't look somebody. Not I'm exaggerating now, but you can't even look people in the eye and breathe without fear of being robbed and killed. How is this so much better than U.S.? I never had to worry about stuff like this in the U.S. Like it does. When you make up shit, when you try to reframe the narrative, you're gonna trip yourself up, and that's just basically what they're doing. But anyway, I just want to touch on this whole passport bro thing. I'm sure I'll be talking about it more in the future. But anyway, thanks for listening. We're out.